If we go back to my picture, you can see that I've got this block hanging out over that one edge another 1/2 inch. So here's how we do that. I'm going to do another 2D sketch. And this time we can highlight any one of these sides of the block that I want. If I hold the shift key down with my left finger and push the wheel down again, I can actually rotate this part around. It's a little shortcut that I can do. And then if I go over here and hit the home button, it'll snap back into the isometric view. You can also click on the various parts of the cube and it'll rotate to different faces as well. So I'm going to do a 2D sketch, and I'm going to do that 2D sketch on this side. So now I'm going to draw right on the surface of that part. Move it back into position. This time, let me show you a rectangle tool. So if I take a rectangle tool, it will snap to edges. You can see that lights up green, and then this lights up green. If I hover over a corner, that dot will light up green. I'm going to hover right over that corner, and I am going to just draw a rectangle and try to get it to get as close as I can. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to try to get close. I'm going to drop it right there. And we can see that the purple line here is not lined up with that edge at all. It looks like all the others are lined up, but this purple edge is not lined up at all. So I'm going to use this tool called the Dimension tool. What the Dimension tool will do is it'll allow me to click on 2 lines and then tell it how far I want those 2 lines to be apart. So I'm going to click on this line and this line, and now I have the 2 arrows between those 2 lines, and I'm going to left click. I'm going to pull the arrows up above the part, and I'm going to click again, and here it allows me to enter 0.5 inches. And now you can see that I've moved those lines to be 0.5 inches apart. Just to make sure, I will click this line and this line, and I'll just make sure that says also 5.5 inches. This is just telling me that I already had that dimension because I snapped to that shape. So I'm going to click accept on that. Okay, let's finish the sketch, and I will go back to extrude, and that defaults to be highlighted. If not, I could hover over that face and highlight it, and it is already set to 0.5 inches coming out in that direction, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to click OK. So this now is my finished part, and I have it all set up looking like that. Now some of you might have some things that look a little bit different. What happens if you had another piece sticking off the edge here? Well, you could do another 2D sketch, and I'm going to hold shift, press my wheel down to be able to peek at this side. I'm going to click this face. Alright, now I could, if I wanted to, I could come over here, come to that corner, and I could draw another rectangle. Oh, the other thing, once you have a rectangle, every time you click, it wants to draw another rectangle. So hitting the escape button will drop whatever tool. So you can see the rectangle is still highlighted there. When I press escape, it will drop the rectangle tool and allow me to pick another tool. So I'm going to click the dimension tool, click between these 2 lines here, and I'm going to call that 0.5, and I'm going to click between these 2 lines, and I'll call that 0.5. You always have to dimension in both those directions. Finish the sketch, extrude, I can highlight that, bring that out, and click OK. And now you can see maybe my part has that feature sticking out from both directions. So that might be something you do. Over here now you can start to see all of these extrusions. When I hover over them, they kind of highlight the various pieces. So extrusion 3 is the last extrusion I made, and that's not really part of my design. So I'm going to right click, and it will allow me to delete that extrusion. It'll also ask me if I want to delete the sketches, which I do, so I keep that box checked. Click OK, and that last extrusion goes away. Let me get this back to the position. Now some of you might want to, instead of adding all all of this stuff together. Maybe we want to cut out an area. So let's go to 2D sketch. I'll do a sketch on this face again. You can see that I'm looking at it from the front view. I'm going to take my rectangle tool and make a rectangle right up here. Hit escape to drop the rectangle. Go to my dimension tool, click, click, create 0.5, click, click, 0.5, enter, finish the sketch, go to extrude. Now on the extrude, it wants to stick this out in this direction, but I don't want to stick it out in that direction. I want to actually cut it away. So down here, it allows me to join or add to, or I can cut. So I'm going to click on cut, and you'll see what happens. It goes in the other direction, 0.5 inches, and it removes it. So I'm going to click OK. And now that part is gone from that location. So some of you might have a part that looks similar to this, and you can do it that way. You can either add to your part, or you can cut pieces out of your part. You'll probably do combinations of both on this assignment. Once again, this is not part of my assignment, so I'm going to right click on extrusion 4 and delete it with the sketches to get back to my part. All right, up here at the top, I can click the little, let's see, this wheel right here, and this is my yellow part. So clicking that wheel, turning it to yellow, will allow me to color the different faces of my part. All right. I can also, if I hit escape, I can select the whole thing, drag across the whole thing. I just clicked and dragged across the whole thing before I click the color, and then I can choose my color. So I can either color faces by clicking on the faces at a time, or I can drag, when I have that dropper, I can drag across the whole thing. And let me do that one more time. So I'm going to click the color changer. I've got my little highlighter. I'm going to drag across the whole thing, pick the color that I want it to be. In this case, yellow. This is my yellow part, and hit the green check. Boom, and now I have the yellow part all ready to go. Go back to your home, and you are ready to save. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. At this point, you should have your Google file stream already downloaded onto your computer. I'm going to change this to yellow puzzle part, and I'm going to save it to my Google Drive file stream, my drive, and then you should have a design processes folder, and this is the puzzle cube project and yellow puzzle part. Save, and there you go. You're going to do the same thing with your other colored pieces until you have all 5 of your parts created in Inventor. That's it.